Okay, can't support sound according to this. Let's make sure we're on the right audio output. Yes. Audio input and output. Yes. Huh. Are we live or not? I can't tell if I'm live. It looks like I'm live for a minute. Ah, maybe that's what it was. I just needed to add the scene. I think I'm actually live again. And of course, my YouTube app won't see this. View channel, morning live stream, videos, shorts live. I can't tell that I'm actually live. Let's try switching account. Subscriptions. Live. Dragons Beyond. Hey, I'm seeing my screen. It's actually working. No shit. That's amazing. I'm very happy. I think I figured this stuff out. All right. My cluttered desktop is what you're seeing right now. So let's get rid of that. This morning we're going to be doing a little bit of video editing. Let me make sure that I get this posted up. I will get the hang of this eventually. And I'll post it to my channel here. For the war game. And then if I edit this, I can copy this. Copy text and go to the Den of Iniquity, otherwise known as the Living Earth Gaming Club. And I post it to X as well, just in case somebody sees it there. I will assume that things are going well and everything is going to work today and that I've figured out all my technical difficulties. Let's make sure the post is out there. And click on this and see if this thing is tracking me. It's got my face. Amazing. Let's post an image. Right? Still seems to be a bit behind here. Okay, yes, I can see it on the live stream. All right, I think we've overcome our difficulties. All right, so I don't know how to keep up with the chat while I've got this going. You know what, I'll put the chat down on my phone and occasionally glance down, I suppose. It's the only way I can do this. And I'll keep the volume on this down so that I don't get the echo effect. Yeah, so you can see my desktop. I've got a million projects here going, and maybe we'll give an overview of them if there's a bit of time. What I really wanted to accomplish this morning is to show you some of the images that I've captured from various places that I plan to put into this non-war game. And in this case, this comes from FM 5-20 Camouflage from 1968, page 31. I think this is an excellent picture of a guy that's in a field fortification. All right, I have the original images over here, so I don't have to worry about doing any damage to these when I'm cropping them. And so, yeah, the first thing I always do is just start with a simple crop. and take it down to a size where it's going to have all the detail, and keep the artist's name if there is one. And then you can see here, doing this crop, I got two problems immediately. I got this page punch, and I got this little bit of text there at the bottom. I just take a little bit of copy paste action here and covered that stuff up. Actually, well, it doesn't matter. Let's just get the words off the page. Doing as little damage as possible, so to speak, to the image as possible. Okay, it looks like that keeps the rock. I'm still cutting off the rock a little bit. There we go. Looks like I got the words there, and now I come over here to the side of the page, and it looks like there's a little bit of other damage here to the image as well. A little bit of scanning damage. We're just going to try and clean up the easy stuff right now. And that gets moved. This gets covered up a little bit. And that is going to be close enough, and we're going to call that image cropped and ready to go. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is come and crop all of these images. And then I can tell if I've cropped them by looking at the date time field, right? So let's one by one go through each of these care casualties. Yeah, this is a great picture of a casualty from a manual that comes from 1980, but that's close enough. And this little artifact up here, I can clean that up pretty easily. So we'll zoom in a little bit. I intend to change these colors to a more olive drab. So just capture a little bit of something here. Actually, if I capture this and I make it just wide enough, and if I capture it near, the rule of doing this is to capture something that's near where the mess up, so to speak, that you want to cover up is from. And then when you paste it, it always comes down here in the middle. So come up here and I paste over it. I can zoom in even to get, closer to the pixels I care about. That looks like a pretty good match. And now getting this one is going to be a little more difficult, so I need to do something kind of like this probably to manage to pull this off. So a little bit of copy that, boom, bring that up here. Come on, let's go. And yeah, for me, this is kind of relaxing, easy cleanup kind of operation. Yeah, I think I'm gonna not do that. That's not gonna work, but this will. What I can do is cover this up right here. Let's zoom back out. Some of this stuff will be easier if I zoom out. Huh. I hate it when that happens. Once again, let's get some of the area we want. Yeah, this can go away. This is what I care about. Bring this up here. Cover that up. Make sure we're not covering up pixels. Nobody's going to notice this kind of stuff, but I'll know it's there. And that's kind of the irritating and frustrating thing for me, is knowing something is not quite right. I'm whispering because everybody in the house is still asleep. So copy that, paste it up here. Oop. Get it kind of in the area. Yeah. See, even that, I'm not entirely sure. I'm not sure what this little. Okay. So those are supposed to be parts of the tree. Let me just take that out, take that out. How about if we just cover that up with white? I think just whiting it out is going to be an easier solution here. So just come up here and just white this part out entirely. And cover that up. And I could do this in what do you call it? Affinity Publisher. Affinity Publisher has a little bit better control over this kind of stuff, but I'm still learning how to use it. And then yeah, we'll just take one more piece up here and kind of cover that up and make it smaller and cover the, oh, dang it. Hate it when little problems like this crop up. That's pretty close. If I extend this out, up maybe, and maybe a little down. And now that little line is gone, and nobody will be the wiser. There are easier ways to do this kind of thing. I think I showed you the hard way. So when you're looking at the page, you probably won't notice this or see this at all. Is anybody in the chat? I doubt it. But if there are, it says 2 people are viewing, so I'm going to assume that's me and somebody else. All right. Back to the images. We got a lot of images to get through. Let's get through these as quickly as possible. So this one, I'm not going to crop. Well, I can crop this one a bit, maybe. Or is it already cropped? Looks like it's already cropped. Okay, so I don't need to do anything to that one. This one's going to need to be cropped and rotated, so rotation is going to take a little more work. So you can see that that is not, that's close enough. I can trim this down and it'll be fine. It will be fine. Sure, we can duplicate that as a TIFF. I don't care. And take that off. And file, export. And make this a JPEG. And do we have 600? Probably not, but who cares? Place this on the desktop. Save it. And drop it back in here. And oh, it came as a WebP, that's why it's a little bit different. Okay. This one's pretty cropped. Not sure I'm going to keep all this stuff, but you know, there's some stuff down here that, am I cutting off important words if I do this? Looks like it captures that this came from the enemy from 1968, the enemy, so to speak. Yeah, I think I'll keep it like that. Not making any permanent decisions here, just trying to get this close. This one's going to require considerable cleanup, probably won't make the final cut. I think what I was shooting for was this dude down here, because he's making fun of the large imperialist, or maybe, no, this was counter-propaganda. This was U.S. propaganda. So this has got to get trimmed down a bit. Now we can zoom in here, do what we got to do, which is get rid of this rifle. So we're going to take a block like this. We're going to just start up here, probably about here, and expand that out. And cover that up. And cover that up. Maybe one more here. You know, it's not the best patch job, but you do what you can to make your work later easier to accomplish. So, let's see. Maybe one more. And one more. And when I resave this, it'll flatten this stuff out, and these these intermediate artifacts will disappear. So we're just doing some basic cleanup here, and then we'll come back with a real tool. I gotta get rid of this dude's leg over here, so maybe if I trim this down a bit, get rid of that. Take it down to there, and then again, same kind of concept here. Let's put together a box that's somewhere over here. First, let's flatten it. Let's flatten it first, and then come back to the leaflet. Oh, different leaflet. Doesn't matter. We can do this one real quick. Get it close. I like keeping the original border if possible, because sometimes having a natural looking border like this looks good once you grayscale it and clean it up a little bit, instead of having an artificial border around everything where everything's just a little too perfect because it's exactly the right number of pixels. Oh, I lost my work. So silly. But yeah, I mean, the caption here it's supposed to be counter propaganda, so it's more like, you know, this is making fun of the NVA and the poor local villagers and stuff that's happening. But you could just as easily say this was, see what happens when you support imperialists. So it could go either way depending on what the caption is. Is good just random thought here. Is good propaganda like that? Can you simply change the caption and have counter propaganda become pro propaganda? I think you might be able to. Again, see, this is not quite centered, and I've got the ability to rotate. I can always add a border to this and then move it, retrim it, and cut it back down. But sometimes having something that's not quite centered looks more organic here. Yeah. Tunnel diagram. This one I'm not going to be able to do anything with. I have not been able to find a better image than this. And I know where this was sourced from now too, so that's a good deal for me. We're going to keep that. Don't see anybody in the chat. All right. I don't think, you know, having a pro-U.S. forces situation in here is necessarily good. So this guy's smile might have to become a frown or something. I might not keep this. Not sure. He does look like a stool pigeon. You know, maybe he's pointing the Americans in the wrong direction, though. All right, what do we got here? Border's pretty close. Let's just get a little bit closer here. Because the larger the image border is, the more space it takes up on the page, and then the more difficult it is to squeeze in. So, you know, it's a game. It's a game you got to play with Mac pages with layout. Someday I'll learn a real system. All right, so this one probably won't make the final cut. This comes from this came off of Wikimedia, which this is an older, what is that, C-21 or something helicopter. But we got to get rid of this kind of stuff. And the easy way to do that is just block it out and cover it up. Alright, so we got rid of that much of it. Are you for reals? Look, I managed to complicate my problem. Alright, well, I can't worry about that right this second. Still covering up some stuff here. I guess I can come cover that up now. I don't need that. And then I need more of a block like this. Over here, nobody's tuning in yet. Didn't cut off the rotor. And we'll just get this guy covered up a bit, and we'll do it the old-fashioned way. Boom. And expand, and done. Now we have a clean-looking helicopter. Already have a copy of this, but just in case one of these is higher quality than the other, for whatever reason. One of them I might have screenshotted and the other managed to download. I think they're both downloaded though. So this is probably overkill at this point. Yeah, okay. This will go in the anti-aircraft section here. Let's see. Yeah, not much I can do with this one. I don't think this is going to make the final cut. It was not a great drawing to begin with. And then when I zoom in like this, it just looks like it's just too pixelated. So I think I gotta ditch this one out at this point. No worries, I got 177 images, I think. So that one's got to go. Lens-added compass. I don't think I'm going to need this one. So we're not really doing anything about land nav. But it might fit at the bottom of a page or something. Again, this is typical in news articles of the time. You get this very pixelated situation. And I think this might still be owned by AP. So I'm not sure that I can use this. It's the most photorealistic, and maybe I could clean this up with AI, but I hate to do that to a historic picture, because in some ways the graininess kind of takes you back to that period of time in the newsprint. Yeah, I think I'm going to just keep this. It looks too good. I can't. And that would be Viet Minh. You know, notice the weapon that he's carrying and stuff like that. All right, so let's take a look at this. This Willys thing. This is the Germans gave us something, but it looks too cartoony. We'll see what it looks like when I turn it to grayscale, and then we'll use a better tool, because I'm not going to subject you to me trying to clean up all these views of this. What I really want is just a Jeep, and what I might do is just use the bottom one or this one up top and then flip it around. Yeah, because I don't really think I need the top-down view and the side-by-side. Will those be isometrics and the top-down cutaway? We'll save work on that one for later. We're just doing the main cleanup right now. This is not the greatest recoilless rifle picture, but it is okay. I've got a better one. Sometimes having two to choose from makes it easy later to say yes this one and no that one. Again, this is a picture of a Huey. It's not the best one, but I think this one I might like to have. So let's clean this one up a bit. So we're going to come in here and just boom and boom. Spread that out a little bit. Boom. This is why I make that disclaimer up front that the images have been manipulated, because this is not how they originally appeared. Let's zoom in here. Is that impeding on? Nope. That's good enough. That's just artifacts of the copying process. And again, I can come in and clean some of the stuff up, but sometimes you want just a little bit of that noise. I can denoise it, or I can manually go in and clean it up. And sometimes it's just, it quite frankly looks better just to have that stuff, because it doesn't look as polished, you know? It doesn't look as interfered with or manipulated. All right, I'm not going to be able to get the arrow out of there with this tool. Same thing for this arrow. We're just going to try and get most of it. Yeah, and then we can come back later. All right, just roughing stuff in. Thunder Chief drawing. I can't really do much with that one. I don't think that's going to make the final cut, but I needed, or I wanted something to represent fast movers. That's a pretty good picture of a mortar. Let's see, McDonnell Douglas. That's a really good picture of an F4. This is probably what's going to make it into there. Is probably this top-down overview of the F4, because this one with the wheel and the armaments is not going to do it for me. And the one with the fuel tank up top doesn't really show any bombs. But the one looking top down looks pretty lean and mean, so we need roughly that much space kind of cleaned out. Could do is turn it to transparent, but yeah, okay. I think I've got a plan here for how we're going to do this. First, we're going to just crop this down. And leave me a little bit of space to play with here. Okay, crop that down, zoom in. We need to get rid of this stuff, so let's get some white here, so we got something to play with. Okay, and then we're going to stretch this down. Hey, I love it when that happens. Yeah, I don't think the pixelation when I zoom in is going to matter when you're looking at this on the page, because I'll make it small enough so that your eye won't dwell on that. I can also use Image Magic to sharpen it up if I had to. So I might sharpen this, although I think that'll probably make this pretty crummy in here. But if you're looking at this on the page and it's a small section, it's just going to, your brain will register, okay, jet, we're talking about fast movers, and it'll just orient you. And I might orient it up and down the page. Oh, let's see, so that's done. Yeah, I think we're going to get rid of Thunder Chief. Thunder Chief is done. We don't need that. AK rifle silhouette. I like this. It's transparent image, but it captures the AK-47, and you can never have enough AK-47s, right? M16 training page. This one I'm going to clean up in a different way. I don't think I can crop it much here, because you start to lose. Like, it was already a page that was bent. You can see that this was a page that was bent and scanned. So to get rid of that, I kind of have to start impinging on, come on, grab that. Kind of have to start impinging on the page itself. Here. What if we started about here? Now I'm cutting off that dude's arm, and I don't want to do that. So I want the dude's arm as much as possible. And I want some of this jungle for perspective at the top. So let's see, what would it look like if I cropped it down to this and kept the grass. If I keep the grass like this, yeah, I can clean up this corner here pretty easily. I can darken up the corner up in the upper right. And the words down here we can get rid of. Let's just do some of that easy work now. So this is going to be like this. And then we come over here, the word, and we just stretch this out and get rid of it. And then we do the same thing. We cover up that last little bit down there. It's easier to take from somewhere nearby and have it match. So we're going to match it up like that. And then we had some words up here we got to get rid of. This is going to be a little harder, but I want you to get rid of this page edge stuff. The easiest way to do that is going to be come in with this, maybe here. Yeah, bring that narrower. It's the kind of stuff that you don't see other people doing a lot of, because it is kind of tedious and boring and stuff like that. And if I take another one, okay, so now that kind of matches the color scheme here, and it looks kind of naturally drawn. And then if I take this border, oh, damn it. All right, come on. Take this border right here and extend it up. Put it up there. Come on. Come on. Give me what I want. Oh, it's being difficult on me. I hate it when it's being difficult on me. Come on. Oh, that's one way to accomplish it. Come on, shrink down a little more. Right, move up. Ah, lost it. Go up that way and then shrink in this way. Yeah. And now if I zoom out, does it look like the page has been bent? You really won't see that much when you're flipping through either. It's bothering me that it's more than it's going to bother anybody else. So, right. Let's get rid of some of these words here. And again, this is where it gets harder to match. So I'm going to have to cover that up. Yeah, we're just do the main work right now. We'll come back and make it pretty later. And you'll be able to see that if I share all my techniques here. All right. There's probably a blur tool in image in Affinity. I just haven't found it yet. And then I'll be able to blur this together and it'll look just fine. Okay. Oh, I'm going to stretch this over a little more that way. There. Now the words are gone. And now I got my dude with an M16. That's a pretty darn good piece of artwork, right? If you're just blowing through and once that gets blurred out and mixed in, it'll look just fine. Okay. So, and we're going to grayscale it down because I suspect there's probably color in that image that we're not able to see, but the computer does see. So flattening it up will make it look better too. Nobody seems to be in the chat, so I think I'm the only one in the chat. Let me give myself a heart here. Yay. Yay me. All right. And then here's the other one, which is done, which has Vietnamese on here, but this is for Arvin training purposes. So again, we don't need all of this. And then this stuff can go away. Right, that looks pretty good. Now we just got to zoom in and take care of a few minor things down there. Let's take care of this stuff up here first. Don't really want that spot. That ought to work. That ought to work. And sometimes when you stretch this stuff out, it it blends in better than when you have a bunch of blocks on top of each other. So I think that's what we're going to do with this one, so it'll require less manipulation later. We're going to stretch that out, and then one more. And we're going to make this one tiny. And put him up. Boop. Not that tiny. Get up there. Get up there, please. Yeah. Pretty good. All right, let's get down. Let's get these last words out of the way. And I like this particular color, olive drab, so I might end up keeping that throughout the book. Like I was talking about, that other image from the 1980s has a different color that I need to do something with. Ah, come on. Yeah, I just need to do a couple of copies of this. Let's get rid of the A here. Stretch this out a little. Hard to say which one is going to be harder to blend in. Stretch you down. And come over here and give me a line like this. And stretch you down to there. Yeah. And zoom out. Yeah. Oh, we got to crop some more. Look at that. We got to crop this right edge. I'm going to lose some detail when I do that. I don't want to cut off that rifle. Man, that's frustrating. This one I may actually want to, what I'll do is I'll add an additional border around it and then rotate it. It takes a little bit of work, but it'll be worth it for this one to straighten it out and capture more of this. Okay, so I'm going to save that. That's pretty good, close enough for this part of the process. Oh, this stuff is for later. So these are supposed to go into the downloads folder. They're supposed to be over here. So I can take those out of here too, right? I got them in the same spot. These guys are duplicates that I don't need of some medieval stuff. Hope y'all had a great 4th of July. What time is it? 6:57. I gotta get out of here soon. Yeah. What is the starlight scope? I think I got a better picture of the starlight scope. That's actually not bad. Not bad. We can trim this down though. I don't need the caption because I know this is an ANPVS3A. Well, keep that for now. So I might want to keep that caption and get rid of the figure 1 stuff. And trim this down to here. Yeah, pretty close. That's a pretty good image. Oh, but I'm not supposed to be in the original images folder. Alright, so we did... Yeah, it's a screenshot. Oh, here's another screenshot. This one, the words are out of focus, and I've got another one. I don't think I'm going to keep this one. Yeah, I think I need to make a command decision and just ditch that out of here now. So move to trash. This is the Cobra that I cleaned up. I'm pretty proud of that one. And I think that's a duplicate of what I just saw. So I think that's duplicate. It looks like it's 1 kilobyte less, maybe. When I exported it, not sure why that happened. I'll move that one to trash and keep this one. because there's no artifacts down here that I can grab onto. Once I've saved it, it flattened out. So, okay, we're good on that one. Oh, what a beautiful picture of a minigun. So, I wanted to get the Loach, the OH-1, I think it is, helicopter, but all the images would have required way too much manipulation, and it seemed like it was going to be quite beyond me. But this minigun is freaking awesome. So let's just crop this down and keep the minigun, because it is pretty sweet. And I don't mind that occasionally there are diagrams like this. Like sometimes the diagrams are annoying, but in this case, I like the look. So I think it just matches what the vibe I'm shooting for here. I guess I labeled it right. That's an OH6. The Loach is an OH6. Prick 77, I got a couple of these. Oh yeah, this dude, this is pretty freaking awesome. So he's pretty period authentic. So we're going to go about there, and about there, and about there above the antenna. Doesn't have to be exact at this point. I usually like to have a border of 25 pixels from any part of the image that I'm keeping, but that's probably TMI. TMI and too much finickiness. Here's a good picture of the prick. Now it looks like the prick 20. This is a prick 25, but 25 was still in use in Vietnam, so I don't mind that this is not a 77. I do want to make sure is that I've got something that looks like a radio, a backpack radio from the time, and this definitely fits the bill. So I don't care that it says, oh gosh darn it. Sometimes Mac goes a little bit too far. Like, see how I was able to highlight that text and then it stole the focus from me? I don't like that, but it does happen sometimes because it takes this text. If it can recognize the text, it textifies it, which also makes it easy to search images on a Mac. And, you know, sometimes that stuff works against you. Yeah, that's the H1. I already talked about that Cobra. And the Model G was still in use in Nam, so I think we're good. Now we're starting to get into stuff that's a little more, you know, not sure that I need this detail, but this is from Period Authentic Doctrine, and this might just fit in somewhere on the page. It's just like a throwaway image. Yeah, we don't need that. So what we will do is, I got an idea here. We will take this and paste it up here, and then we will take this and paste it there. Did I lose my other image here? I did. Damn it. Alright, let's start over here. Let's give myself a little more room to play. There we go. Now I cover this up. Cover this up temporarily. Yeah. And then have one that's about the same length here. But a little taller. Here, that I can grab onto. And then take this. Come on. Come on now. Take this. This is actually what I want to do. Yeah. And then recenter it where I want it. Does that look centered? Squad column with fire teams in column. Looks like I should move it right a little bit more. I'm going to call that good enough. And then I'm going to crop it down one more time. And that one's done. Whoever the other person was is gone now, so they got tired of watching me talk to myself and manipulate images. Thank you for stopping in. Wish you would have chatted. All right. So, what do we got here? Squad column with fire teams in column. Didn't I just do that one? I thought I just did that. Did I capture the same one? 7-8. Figure 2-7. It's the same thing, right? Squad column with fire teams in column. And this is squad column with fire teams in column. Yeah, this is the one I should have done. So that one is page 1992. Yes, that should be page 2-29. So change the name up here to page 2-29. 235. Yeah, this is probably too much detail here. Platoon wedge. But be the same thing to get rid of that figure. That's fine. That's fine. Alright, I gotta get on the road if I'm going to hit Saturday morning mass here. So I'm gonna call it at this point. Thank you for stopping by, watching my live stream, and seeing some of the, maybe I'll just show you some of the imagery that's in here real quick before I get on the road. Let's just flip through all these images. So open with preview. So those of you that stuck with me throughout the rest of this, so yeah, we got a nice propaganda video, but it does show strafing. So I think we might be keeping that one. Again, we'll be grayscaling this stuff. You've seen these images, you've seen this. Anti-aircraft. That's probably my fast mover right there. This is probably going in somewhere. That's probably my back cover image right there, the one that's full color. Then we've got night vision, we've got a minigun, guy carrying a prick, a picture of the prick up close, a little bit of just doctrinal information for those that wanted something period authentic. I mean, this is from the manual, so whoop. Where's the rest of my images? Must be in the preview tab somewhere else. That or I closed, that's what happened. I closed, open with preview. Must have closed one of these that I shouldn't have closed. That's the one I shouldn't have closed. Okay. So in preview, let's get rid of the other ones though. So that's an individual image. Sometimes preview opens it all in one place. Not sure why it does that. If somebody knows, leave that in the comments. Just fine. I normally don't have a problem with it, but when I'm trying to do something like this, it gets a little frustrating. So I think what I got to do is just expand this out a little bit. And then I can flip through these images. I'm going to get rid of the trash now because that annoys me. All right. So we got the leaflet stuff. You saw I was image manipulating these. Still got that foot there to get rid of. Why did I keep the original here? I must have had 2 copies of it. So this can go. I'll get rid of it later. Casualty, guy with an M14. Got a really good picture of a Huey coming into an LZ. This was to demonstrate. Anyway, I'll clean that up. Dude with binoculars. Dude with a Bangalore torpedo with the comment about Bangalore torpedo. Same thing, wire obstacle. That might be a better picture. I'm not sure I like this Bangalore torpedo. I've got a better picture of a squad probing for mines. We've got a picture of a guy calling in, presumably an airstrike or something else, so that might go in the radio section. Looks like these guys are engaging from a foxhole, a fighting position, into the wood line there. Here's an assault through an ambush. And then we got a nice picture of a burning truck on the top one, of people exfilling from the ambush, with security team on the right, still in Overwatch over here. So, yeah, one of these is probably going to make the cut. You know, the typical freeze. Again, even though this manual this was the 1980 manual, if you look at the costume here, they're still wearing they're not wearing the Kevlar yet. And the M16s don't have the 203 launcher in any of these pictures, so that's why I kept these. They might be usable. Here's a picture of good TRPs with final protective fires from machine guns. Or actually, I think those are final protective fires from a machine gun over here, and I think that might be an anti-tank weapon. I forget my symbology sometimes. Troops reacting to ground flare, that's going to go in the illumination section maybe. Here's a night patrol, so that might go in there somewhere. Another assault. This is an assault, obviously, against a defensive position. Low crawl, high crawl, short rushes. We needed something to demonstrate the different postures for the movement rates for those that aren't familiar, perhaps. M60 getting mounted. There is a rule in there for mounting and dismounting vehicles and riding on the back of vehicles, and a penalty for firing from the back of vehicles. So all that stuff is in the rules. Yeah, troop leading procedures, synchronized watches, that kind of thing. Plus, this is one of the few instances of an African American in the manual. Not commenting on the artistic talents of the Army, because it varies considerably, but it's odd to me that a force that had so many African Americans in service when I was in the 90s, and definitely in Vietnam, is not better represented here. I'm not woke, but it is noticeable that that's missing. So that dude might be my you know, to use a politically incorrect term, my one canary in the coal mine, I guess, for representation. Okay, anti-tank mines. This is probably the best picture I'm going to get for an anti-tank and anti-personnel mine in one place. And the fact that it's got a claymore is just fantastic. The tow launcher is not period authentic. A good picture of an M60. I can't use the 203 grenade launcher on the top. I can use the RPG-7. I confirmed that the RPG-7 was still in use in Nam. I need to check the PKM. I have a suspicion that it is. Definitely the AK was used in Nam. A good picture here of, I think that's T-50, oh no, that's T-62. T-62, which again would be fine. That was still in use in the time frame that I want for these rules. Good pictures of the 113, although the 113, I've got better pictures of the 113. Good picture of a recoilless rifle. We got a good picture here of the, you know, the Law rocket. Got a Browning M50, or yeah, Browning 50 cal, M2 50 cal, you know, Modus. Another good picture of an M60. Picture of an M16. I did check that the M16A1 with the forward assist was definitely period authentic for Vietnam. Those did go into service in the late 60s, force-wide. So even though you get a mix of M14s, M16s proper with no forward assist, the A1 was period authentic. It's a good picture from the Vietnamese side of sniper, so I might put that in the sniper section, right? There's another picture of a T-62, although here we're in a minefield, plus getting hit with arty. Or it could be smoke. Fire smoke, VT, and HE just before. Anyway. Again, here's a good picture of a 113 getting remounted from the rear. I see nothing that's not period authentic in that picture. Crossing a wall. Actually, I think the guy on the right, even though he's not using proper tactical form, is a better picture. It just conveys more action than the guy on the left. The guy on the left looks like he's low crawling across the pavement, which doesn't make sense. But the dude on the right, that's action. So he's probably staying. I've already got other T-62 pictures, so I don't need that one. But the building does not look very much like Vietnam. That looks like European theater. So the building's probably not what I'm going for. This is probably going to get cut from the final. Another picture of 113, this time with the top open. You got the 50 cal up there getting engaged. This conveys a lot of action. I might keep this one. Again, dudes in Overwatch. Don't think that one's going to make it. This was a fantastic manual. So you got an instance here of a guy carrying multiple law rockets strapped to his back on one side, and another dude that looks like he's carrying a mortar base plate or something like that. So again, the quality of the imagery that I was able to find is pretty high in some cases. A lot of the stuff that got cut, though, was just, it was not high quality. Here you can actually see the grenades in the LBE right next to the ammo pouches. Yeah, that one's definitely going to make the cut. I don't know that the medium Alice pack on the right is going to make it, but definitely the dude on the left is going in there. That's too damn good. This is really good artwork. I wish they had credited the artists, but who knows? Was this a civilian working for DoD that did this? Was this contracted out to somebody? Or was, like the Special Forces manual, it's got to be a Special Forces dude that did those illustrations. Is such low quality throughout, but again, that brings authenticness to it. So dude on the left is the jungle hat, the only instance of jungle hat that I saw, so he's probably making the cut. Plus got the palm tree looking. It looks like jungle canopy. And again, this particular color, OD, might be the OD color that I settle on, just because it'll be, I like that color, even though I know it matches the manuals from the 70s. Like, this is a 1977 manual, and it was definitely in the 80s and 90s manuals I saw. But this OD color for the manuals looks right to me. So places where I've got OD color, like, see, these ones from the 1980 manual with this yellow bullshit, like that dude that's flipping over the wall here, I'm going to flip him to this better OD green color and have the same OD green color palette throughout. Great instance here of dudes, they're not in pith helmets, but close enough where they don't look Soviet. So those dudes in the middle left picture are what I'm shooting for. Good picture of an RPG used from 2 points to engage a helicopter, which happens to be a Huey. So that's probably going to make it, even though it's going to be pixelated if I try to blow it up. So it's going to be a smaller image. I really like the RPG picture at the bottom, but I don't know they'll be able to clean it up. And the one on the top doesn't really convey what I want. Here's a good picture of the launcher by itself. That's pretty solid. Again, 7. The Model 7 was in there. So the Vietnamese used the B-40, which was an RPG-2 at the beginning of the war, and then later didn't. Okay, so here is the Special Forces manual. This is one of the better pictures from it. That's worth keeping. Got a dude with a beret, mostly looking like he's in black, so that's staying in. Same thing for this. This is one of the few instances where I found parachutists, so that's staying in. This guy looks Vietnamese enough, or native Montagnard or something. He looks like a native, and he looks like he's in jungle, so we're going to keep that in there. Another dude with radio. Dudes with a Huey coming in. Wounded dude. Yeah. Again, this manual, that looks like, it's not the same quality of artwork. It looks more like this was a Special Forces dude that just like to draw, and he got tapped to do the manual. This is a great picture of a Huey, jumping off the Huey that's in hover mode, so I know where that's going in the manual. Here's a riverine operation, again with a native looking dude and jungle trees in the background. It definitely has that Mekong Delta kind of feel to it, so that's going in. This is not the right kind of helicopter. This looks more like an African situation or even an Alpine situation, but I like this image. It's probably going in the bibliography or somewhere in the back where it won't take you out of the Vietnam era. Again, natives trucking across the land. It's definitely a Special Forces ambush, looking down on a truck convoy about to get lit up with some very small figures down there. Yeah, you can see 4 trucks and a couple security figures that are walking alongside. Love it. It's going in. Dog teams, we don't have stuff for tracking that's going to be saved for like the RPG and stuff like that. So I captured the image now, even though it won't go in this particular manual. Incendiary grenade. This is probably the best grenade picture I've got of one of these. Sniper. There's some lines through this, some artifacts that your eye might catch. It's not high enough quality. I don't know that I can fix this. This is a better picture, so I'm probably going to keep this for the sniper training, even though that's not the right rifle that they used in Nam. That looks more like the M21, I think, sniper weapon system. This manual came from 1994. Might be the M24 sniper weapon system. Same thing, same manual, but it doesn't show the expanding buttstock and stuff like that. And I don't think that scope is right, what the scope covers. But then again, I think I'm the only guy that's going to notice that kind of thing, and it's got a jungle hat. So probably the image, probably one of these images might make it in there. Oh, that one's probably better. That sling adjustment, that dude with the sling and the jungle hat. Yeah, so we got several sniper pictures to choose from. I got sent to sniper school. I did not pass the course. I was only a PFC, did not have enough field craft to make it through. It was a tough course. When I went through, about 50% washout rate. So our battalion sent 3 guys. The NCO passed, and the other 3 of us did not. We were still tapped to do sniper stuff during field training exercises following that, and then when I rotated out of Germany, it didn't matter because it didn't show up on my permanent military record. I've still got my orders to sniper school, my packing list, and all that stuff down here in my drawer of paperwork that I kept to prove that I was there. Plus, I got pictures of me with my sniper buddy on the course. Somebody was taking photos, and I've got a picture or 2 of me there on the course. So I was there. I did the training, but did not get the participation trophy. Okay, and the great thing about that was we were all great shooters. There was nobody that missed a target within 650 meters because you just couldn't miss with that particular rifle and the match grade ammo and the fantastic fighting position. You just could hit targets all day long. 650 and closer, you weren't going to miss. It never got windy enough where that was an issue. So all of us passed the marksmanship portion. That was not the hard part. The hard part was the stalking exercises. And someday I'll go on a rant about that. If you watch Clear and Present Danger, it gives you some idea of what a stalking exercise is like, although it's not realistic because he's using live ammo and it's kind of stupid that way. But stalking was hard. It was hard. The sniper instructors are looking for you. They're walking people in on your position. And we were doing it in the wintertime in Europe. They brought the sniper school to Europe, and it was difficult because I had one stock where everything was going great. I fired my first shot, was not identified, and the second shot, I could not identify the target because by then my lens on my rifle had fogged up because I made the mistake of, instead of waiting until I cooled down from the moving into position, because the time graded exercise, and when the time is up, if you didn't get off your shots, and it was first come first serve for the stalkers being walked in on you, so there's a lot of time pressure on that stalking exercise. And this was my second best stalk, and halfway through it my lens fogged up and I could not identify the numbers that were being held up by the instructors, and so that was a no-go on that particular stalk, and I was out of time to reposition and defog and stuff like that. So yeah, that sucked. But I did have one really good stalk where it was a better day, no issues with fogging up. I had plenty of time because I got out there, and there was a bush I was behind, and I had gone up to the bush and I had picked off individual branches until I was satisfied that I could see through the bush. And then I fell back from the bush about 3 feet and started taking my shots, and they could not identify me. It was the best feeling in the world, man, to know that you have successfully completed a stalk against those guys. It was fun, and it made me a more sneaky bastard. So don't think that just because I didn't pass, I didn't learn anything that I would use against you in a heartbeat if you were my enemy. Okay, moving on. Yeah, again, pictures of movement. These are pretty good because they show an M14 rifle too, so I kind of like these. I think they're better and in more detail than the other stuff from that 1980s manual. So yeah, I think those will be keepers. This guy is crouched for action, but there's a lot of noise in this picture. Firing from positions. These might not make the cut. This was from a propaganda psychological operations. This was, again, looks to me like there was just some dude in psych ops that could do some art close enough, and I like it. This dude's probably staying in somewhere. Some actual field artillery, truck, more trucks, M14, M60 that's been lapped around with some burlap to break up the outline. Don't know that that would be very effective. Definitely it looks like it would interfere with the action, and if you get that barrel hot, that burlap is going to catch on fire. I've seen M60 barrels red hot, and it is no joke. Yeah. Picture of the Claymore, but again, we've got these line through artifacts where it looks like the scan did something stupid. Another picture of Claymore that I might have to use. Great picture of an M60 mortar from a Marine Corps manual. Period authentic soldier's handbook that has ranks, so this is going to go in the ranks section. Good picture of the FPL symbology for final protective line on the right there, so I might keep that. Good silhouette of an M60 with a tracking, with the tripod and the T&E mechanism. To be able to, tracking and elevation mechanism, I think is what it's called. Good picture. There were several different fragmentation grenade models that were used in NAM. Here's one that goes back to World War II that would even be period appropriate for the early stages of the war, or captured equipment, or equipment that we pawned off on Arvin. Again, Comp B and the 2 frag grenades that came later in the war, the more cylindrical and the more rounded frag grenade. Good picture of the M79 kind of broken away like shotgun action, and it actually shows the safety here on the back, which was finicky. That one may not be. Yeah, see, this one's probably the best image, but I do like the breakaway action, and then occasionally so I don't know which of these I'm going to use. Vote for it in the comments. Oh, hey, whoever's tuned in, just going through some of the imagery I'm trimming down and might make it the final cut into this non-war game I'm putting together. Okay, good picture of the law, period authentic ammo pouches that predate the ones that were from my era. Yeah. Here's a picture of the dude that not only has the law, but it looks like he's got, he might be humping a radio that's been broken down there. Another great picture of the law. Good picture of 113 with the Ma Deuce on top. So I might keep the M113 from that one. Good picture of probing for mines on the top. The bottom one doesn't help much. Hold down position, good demonstration of what that is with M113. Again, I got options here with the artwork. Oh, I missed one. What was I trying to show here? Yeah, this is too low quality, I think. The lower right image might make the cut. I got plenty of pictures of laws. I've got plenty of pictures of M60s now. That's a better picture of the radio, but it's got that scanning artifact. You can see those little white lines going through it. But I don't know that you would notice that if you're flipping through the manual. It's less noticeable in this forward artillery one. And yeah, hold down position, although that's, because of the natural camouflage, it's a lower quality image. That's probably not going to make the cut. Here is a period authentic fire plan map that shows that they used the TRP symbol but did not use the same lingo, and it also has FPL, an FPL line drawn out there. So a lot of good things going on. Plus you got a tracked vehicle up there with the platoon command post. So I think this has got to go in. And then how to assault a bunker, because we've got bunker rules. Period authentic manual. This is the manual from '65. So I think this is going to go in there. And it's got the older World War II hand and arm signal for pushing left. In this dude's case, pushing to the right, because that's the maneuver element that's pushing out to the right side. Yeah. How to use tanks if you're an infantry guy following behind the tanks. We didn't do a lot of that stuff in my era, but it was a thing in the 60s. Same thing here. We've got the Alpha and Bravo team. So this is a good illustration of what the squad composition would be when you get online. So anytime you make contact, you get your squads online, and then trailing squad is going to swing around to one of the flanks most likely. That's Infantry 101 kind of stuff. Again, period authentic from the 65 manual. Same image. I have two copies from two different manuals of this image that was signed off by James, the first lieutenant. Yeah, here's an assault, an earlier version of the assault. I kept this, but it's a craptastic image, to be honest. The 1980s manual has a better picture of an assault against a defensive position. I do like this picture of the squad leader and platoon leader planning out, how they're going to approach this terrain feature and divide up the objective, actions on the objective. And then period authentic manual piece that I'll probably put up front in the organization section. And this has got a good picture of, a couple good pictures here. Let me zoom in on this one, because I do think the image on the left side, both those images on the left side, I think there was the loophole one that I wanted to keep for the bunker, because I used the word loophole and not everybody is familiar with what that actually is. This one's probably not going to make the cut. This is too symbolic. I've got better pictures of assaulting a bunker. Same thing here. I don't think we need bound by teams. I might keep this in if I have a throwaway at the bottom of the page. Kill zone with the ambush, like moving into position for a linear ambush. I might be getting too doctrinally down in the weeds. I think I've got that other ambush picture that tells the story more compelling, in a more compelling way. This is for people like me that geek out on the actual tactics and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't need this L-shaped ambush either, I don't think, because I don't describe the difference between the ambush types in the manual, in the war game. Probing for mines, this is a good picture, but I like the close-up picture of him marking the mine from the other manual better. Again, a Bangalore torpedo, how to use a smoke screen when you're probing a minefield. Great doctrine, probably too much for a war game. Good picture of concertina wire and multiple rows of concertina wire, which can actually be used to provide a roadblock against wheeled and tracked vehicles. But I got a better picture of a minefield, or got a better picture of wire that there's no mechanic for this, so I don't think that's going to make the cut. Again, mounting the vehicle, I've got a better picture of that being done. It doesn't matter where you ride on the vehicle. Nobody is going to follow this doctrine and ride on the vehicle the way that it lays it out there. Yeah, and now we're into the images that we've already seen. Yeah, I don't think I need the compass. I do want this map of Vietnam, and I am going to keep the yellow on this one. It's just very eye-catching. It's an AP News. Hopefully AP won't sue me. That's from 60... what year is that? 69. So, you know, we're talking 50 years ago. I doubt they're going to care, but they didn't come after the Etsy people that are selling, you know, large scale put this map on your wall kind of thing. So this is going to go in there just because it helps orient people to the size and geography of Vietnam without me having to get something more technical. And it also racks up most of the casualties because by 69 we started to shift into the Vietnamization stage of the war. Okay, I've lost my one viewer. I'm way over on time. I've got to get out of here. See ya. Bye. Hope you enjoyed the insight into what the artwork is going to look like eventually. Stop sharing. Go back here. Wave goodbye to the camera. Goodbye.